I'm Laura Morey, and welcome to Women's Health Group here in beautiful Brunswick, Georgia. Now, the following video is an overview of the many services and procedures we offer in office at Women's Health Group. Now, we all know that information is important and knowledge is important. So, we're going to provide examples and testimonials that relate to these various procedures we offer so that you can educate yourself and be a better informed patient. Now, we don't want this to be all about the technical aspects of our practice, so we've included a segment that provides a glimpse into the lives of our doctors outside of the office so that you get a chance to get to know them a little bit better. So sit back and enjoy this video presentation, and once again, thank you for visiting Women's Health Group.
I'm Dr. Mark Norvell. I'd like to welcome you to Women's Health Group. We offer OB/GYN services here, and we try to make it the most comprehensive services that we can offer. In obstetrics, we offer first trimester screening. We're the only place in town that offers this. Also, while you're here for your GYN annual exam, we also offer mammograms and DEXA scans so that everything can be done at one time without having to go to multiple places. We also are promoting in-office procedures to try to keep patients out of the hospital. We are offering endometrial ablations, which can be done under both local and oral sedation, and this prevents the patient from having to go to the hospital and provides quick recovery. So if you have any obstetrical or gynecological needs, feel free to call the office. We have a friendly staff that have been here for many years. Here at Women's Health Group, we'd like to make this the most pleasant experience we can for you.
Dr. Johnston, Women's Health Group is performing endometrial ablations as an in-office procedure. How is this an advantage to your patients?
Laura, I'm glad you asked that question. I believe endometrial ablation in the office offers the patient a great advantage. First, let me explain that endometrial ablation is for women who have very heavy menstrual bleeding. We call it menorrhagia. This bleeding sometimes can cause, it can be so heavy that women require blood transfusion. Oftentimes, women have to take extra iron supplements to keep their hemoglobin up.
Well, when I hit 40, it was time to get off the birth control pill, and when I did that, I started having very heavy bleeding, so I had to find some other option, and it was what you recommended, or either a hysterectomy. It was bad. The first couple of days of my period, I didn't want to go anywhere. You have to use a tampon and a pad just to take my kids to school, or I'd bleed through. Yeah, I didn't want to be anywhere but home. I just kind of just in the bed and just didn't want to get out in public. It was that bad. The 6 weeks after it was done, it was the best decision I ever made. Office copay, that was it, and just the prescriptions I had to get filled. And I just want to say that it was the best decision I ever made, and I think a lot of people would benefit from having this done. With there being no downtime time, the low cost, it's wonderful, and I'm so glad you recommended it to me.
Women that have this problem, menorrhagia, we often treat with hormone therapy, birth control pills, or Depo-Provera. Sometimes we will use an outpatient surgical procedure called a dilation and curettage. Often women end up with hysterectomies. That usually requires 2-3 days of recovery in the hospital and 6 weeks before they can get back to work. With in-office endometrial ablation, we now have a new tool to treat menorrhagia. We have found that women tolerate this procedure very well. There's very little discomfort. They're back at work the next day. And one of the big advantages is that many women will have this procedure at a very low financial cost. The insurance often will cover the procedures such that they only have a copay, whereas in the hospital they may have to meet a deductible and also pay 20% of the balance. The procedure in the office is much less expensive, and many times there's no deductible that has to be met. So if a woman chooses this option, we can treat her with one or two methods. One is a NovaSure endometrial ablation. The other is a ThermaChoice. And we do both of them here in our office, and both of them give great results.
The whole NovaSure procedure that I received at the Women's Health Group was amazing. The staff was absolutely friendly and helpful, and the entire procedure was very smooth and was over and done before I even realized it had happened or taken place. And I was back on my sofa at home relaxing. Dr. Norvell and his assistants were just very helpful and very comforting, and there was absolutely no anxiety or anything else. It was just absolutely an amazing procedure, and probably one of the best things that I have ever done. As a teacher and a professional, I was a little concerned about how much time might be involved in the recovery. I had the procedure done on Friday afternoon, and I was right back at school on Monday morning and didn't even miss a beat.
So, Dr. Johnston, are there people on your staff who have specialized medical training?
Yes, Laura, they do. Some of our RNs are trained in diabetic teaching, and also we have a certified nutritional counselor. We have some RNs that have been there longer than I have. All the staff are very professional, they're very competent, but what I like about the staff is that they're very loving people, they're very compassionate, they care for the patients as if it's their own sister coming into the office, and we really have a family atmosphere that has held up for the 20-something years I've been there. I think they make the patient feel very comfortable and at ease when they come into our office.
Well, I just want to thank both Dr. Norvell and Dr. Johnston for just providing us with so much information about Women's Health Group. Now, we have a really interesting segment coming up, and I think you're really going to like it because it's going to give you an opportunity to get to know these wonderful doctors on a personal level. And it's kind of, we call it Meet the Doctors. So stay tuned.
You probably don't recognize me without my scrubs and my hat, but one of the things my wife Joy and I like to do is garden. And I want to show you our garden. You notice we've fortified it because we have a lot of deer here. And if we don't do this, the deer will eat everything. So come on in and we'll show you the garden. Take a tour. This is the angel of the garden. She protects the garden from all the critters that try to come in here and eat all the good food we have. We got some good cucumbers here. This one looks about ripe. We're going to go ahead and pick it. Here's another one that's ready to go. I had my hand at some roses, and these roses are very fragrant. They're my favorite because they smell so good. And we've got some knockouts, and we've got some other roses, which I'll show you in just a minute. Let's go look at these tomatoes. These are our small tomatoes. They're pretty tasty. We can eat them right off the bush. Everything in here is organic, no pesticides, nothing that would make it unsafe to eat. And they are really tasty. It's not ready to eat yet. I'm watching it real close. Maybe another 4 weeks and we'll have a good pear to eat. Smells good. This is our lime tree. We've got a couple limes that are starting to mature. And here's our grapes. One day we're going to branch out and maybe start making some wine, but we got some grapes here. All right, we've got some food here to put on the table. We're going to leave the garden. We'll look at the backyard briefly and go on inside, and then we'll cook up some grub for you, okay? Let's go on inside. One of my passions is missionary work. In 1995, my church sent me on a medical mission to South Africa. I'll never forget this one village I was working in with the Zulus. We had distributed clothing and food and medicines and had done some preaching under a big tent. And as we had finished and were leaving, we saw this old lady, about 60, 70 years old, running after us up this dusty hill. And we stopped the Jeep to see what she wanted, and in broken English she said, "Please, may I have gospel?" And we had given them all out. We searched the Jeep everywhere to find some Bible that we might be able to give her. And I found one Zulu Bible underneath the seat of the Jeep, and I gave it to her. And when she got it in her hands, she just collapsed weeping. This is something she had wanted all her life. The interpreter told us that it was a prize that she had wished for her whole life. that really impacted me. And from there, I worked in the jungles of Venezuela, Peru, Trinidad, Tobago, and I've spent a lot of time in Turkey. Most of my effort has been working with the church in the Middle East. Let me show you some of the artifacts I have brought home from my mission trips. This came from Peru. If you look very closely, you can see where the tarantula was shot right in the main part of the body with a blow dart gun. And we had it framed and put in with a moth. They have very large moths in the jungle. And I was able to bring it home and put it on the wall as a souvenir.
Hello, I'm Mark Norvell. This is my wife, Lee. And we met at Baylor University, where we went to undergraduate school. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and after we got married, after we graduated from Baylor, I went to medical school at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School in Dallas, Texas. It didn't take too many years in Dallas for Lee to realize that it was much too cold for her to live in Dallas or any place north of Dallas, because she grew up in Africa. She spent the first 15 years of her life in Africa, Nigeria. After we finished medical school, we went to Jacksonville for my residency in OBGYN, where we spent 4 years, and then came here to Brunswick. We came to Brunswick in 1984, and I've been here ever since. We've been married for a little bit over 35 years now. Whenever I'm not practicing OBGYN, one of my hobbies is woodworking. I got started in woodworking probably 30 years ago. Mainly started out as small projects, renovations. We've bought several homes over the years and renovated kitchens and bathrooms. And then I kind of got interested in building furniture. I enjoy taking a raw piece of lumber and finishing off into furniture. Much rather build my own furniture than go to the store and buy something made out of particle board. And I enjoy the creativity of making something of my own and finishing it off to look beautiful.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to learn more about our doctors or about the various procedures we can offer in our office, please visit us at www.WHGOBGYN.com. Thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
I have been a nurse for many, many years and was totally impressed by the care that I got at Women's Health Group. They were wonderful to me, took great care of me. The recovery was simple. And I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. I wish I had done it years ago.